The thing I like about it the most is you learn a lot of skills that you keep with you, and you can take them home with you. You learn how to build stuff, you can fix stuff. So it's not just about making money. It's about kind of, as a person, you have a skill set that has unlimited potential.
Gotcha.
Whatever you want to do with it.
Welcome to the Burgess Civil Podcast, where our greatest asset is our people. I'm your host, Ben Burgess. I'm the owner and founder of Burgess Civil. We're a site work and roadway contractor based out of Tampa, and we've been in business since 2014. We're 10 years into our construction journey, and we've decided to jump into the podcast game. I've followed a lot of different construction-related podcasts for years, and we're aiming to do something a little different on ours. On most construction podcasts, I see owners, VPs, project managers, office staff. On our podcast, we're spotlighting our own people from the field within Burgess Civil. Many of our people have come through the trade and been able to better themselves and their families through construction. Many of our people have started out as field technicians and worked their way to operator to foreman to superintendent. We've done all this within Burgess Civil in our fast-growing company. Construction tends to get a bad rap for being an industry you only do if you can't do something else. Instead, we're going to show people that construction is a great option for many people, whether you have a formal education or whether you don't. We help to change the narrative within the construction industry and show people it's a great industry to be a part of. With that said, we've got a very special guest in our podcast today that I'd like to introduce. I would like to introduce Mr. Jay Wooten. Jay is an assistant superintendent with Burgess Civil. He's been working in the industry for 20 plus years. He's only been at Burgess for about a year. He's actually got a family member that works at Burgess, his brother Randy Wooten, who's one of our longest tenured employees in the field. He's been here for 6 or 7 years, and Jay has recently been promoted from a pipe foreman up to an assistant superintendent role. So we're really excited for Jay's progression and really excited to have him on the show and allow him to share a little bit about his journey through construction. And so we'll start, Jay. Let's go ahead and kind of rewind the tape, on you and your life, and maybe some of the things that you worked in or did maybe before you got involved in construction. So take us back to Jay in his early 20s, I guess.
Yeah. Probably one of my first jobs was in a restaurant, fry cook, and that didn't work out good. I did other things. I did tire shop, warehouse stuff. Kind of ended up in this. My brother got me on this and said, "Hey, come try this out." So I started that, running the shovel down in the hole, being the helper, the little guy, and eventually I just kept asking questions and moving up. And
you told me off camera, you said you literally started at the bottom. You were a tailman, right, on a pipe crew. That's how you started.
Yep, down in the hole, up to my knees in mud every day, all that. And
it's kind of all been part of your path, right? Just kind of, starting with the shovel and then continuing to try to learn and pick people's brains and continue to try to grow your skill set, right?
So yeah, I started out doing subdivisions, and was curious about every part of it, every aspect. I wanted to learn more from foremans and looking at plans and stuff like that. And I was really fascinated with the machines, and I think with a lot of young guys, it's the machines that fascinate you and it kind of grab your attention. And that's kind of where I set my eyes on it, and I did that stuff for a while, and I bounced around crews, and eventually got into other stuff, municipal work, roadway work, stuff like that. It gets a little bit more challenging, a little bit more tricky, dealing with traffic and all that stuff, and then
real quick, you talked about the machines. How did you get your first opportunity to get on a machine? How long did that take? Considering where you started, you come in, you're a tailman, you're down in the hole, working a shovel. Obviously, everybody comes in and says, man, that's where I want to be. I want to get on that track over that dozer, that loader. How long did that take for you, and what created the opportunity for you to be able to get on that machine?
So it's probably about 5 years on the ground working, and the company I was at, they started up a new dirt crew, and I kind of saw that as an opportunity. I asked, if I could go on there and do that, and they let me do it, and I did that for about a year. Had the opportunity to run a lot of different machines with that. I kind of bounced around and got some good experience in that until an opening came back on a pipe crew, and that's really where I wanted to be. I like doing it. I like doing the pipe work. I like building stuff. I think that's my motivation. I like building stuff, and then in the end, seeing the end result. And
What was your appeal to pipe work more over dirt work in your experience?
I like the challenge. I like the challenge of it. It keeps your brain going. It keeps you thinking all the time. It's always troubleshooting and problem solving and this and that, and it just kind of, I like that part of it.
You seem like the type of person that likes to do hard things, right?
I do. I find it interesting to do things like that. It's more the reward when you're done. It keeps you on your toes, but the reward when you're done, when you step back and look at it, and you can actually, say, wow, I accomplished that, or I was a part of that, I helped make that happen.
Right.
That's the big motivator for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've heard other people on the podcast kind of comment on one of the beautiful things about your industry is, I mean, you're born and raised in the Tampa Bay area, and you've been working in construction here since the late 90s. So you've seen a lot of stuff change in 25, 30 years, right? There's probably a lot of job sites you can drive past and say, I was a part of that, or I laid pipe there, or I moved dirt there, or whatever, right?
Oh, I still do it now. Every time I drive by a job either I worked on or a part of it, and that was the better thing about municipal work is because these are more public works.
Yeah.
You can you build a subdivision, they put a gate up, and you can't ever go back in there.
Right.
Right. But you do a municipal project or a city, you build a highway, and you can drive down that road later.
Mm-hmm.
You build you be part of a hospital or a school, you can drive by that and you can point to it. Or for those of you, maybe your kids, eventually your kids go to that school one day, and you can tell your kid, hey, I helped build that school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very gratifying.
Yeah. You've even said you've worked places like Epcot and things like that as well.
Yes.
So you've worked in pretty much, if there's something to be built, you've probably been on the project one way or the other.
Yes, I've done a lot of different things and been a part of a lot of different things. And it's definitely something I take pride in, especially things like that. When you're working for places like Disney, these are big worldwide companies, and even if I only played a small part in it, at least I can say I did, and it's something to be proud of.
Absolutely. You can always take pride in that for sure. And you kind of shared with me your experience of, the Tampa Bay market when you got into it in the late 90s, very, very heavily focused on home building, residential, lots of subdivisions going up everywhere. You probably spent your first decade doing that. And then things kind of crashed. And then you found the opportunity kind of working in public work, figuring out how to do DOT work and that kind of stuff, right? Tell us a little bit more about that experience and how it kind of changed your mindset on the work.
Yeah, so it's, the housing market, what we do is based on that. And things, when things got bad, it was tough. I couldn't find work for a little while, but eventually a friend called me and he had an opportunity for me, and it was in DOT work. And I got into that, and I picked up on that, and I did that for probably close to 10 years, and I learned a lot from that too. It's definitely an experience here. That's a completely different thing right there. So definitely good to have under my belt.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's probably one of the things when you decided to join our team a year ago. I think like the versatility of the skill set that you have and all the different projects you've worked on, public and private, was something that's attractive to us as a company that does DOT work, but we also do subdivision and private work as well. I know you were doing a lot of public and commercial high stress work, and you saw the opportunity to come over here when we had a lot of subdivision work and say your brother Randy told you about the opportunity, and you said it was kind of a nice opportunity for you to decompress and work out in a cow pasture again, where you didn't have to worry about existing utilities in the ground and things like that, right?
Yes. It's definitely, I don't mind the challenges, but sometimes you got to give yourself a break, maybe crank it back down a couple notches and see where you go with that. And, he always had good things to say about the company too. He liked working here. Everybody's always treated him real good. And so it's, that's definitely helps to make a decision.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always good to have a good reference, especially a family member that knows the company.
Yeah.
And so you had kind of talked a little bit about you're wanting to better yourself in your career, right? You started at the bottom. Now you've made your way up to a foreman. You'd kind of kicked around the idea of trying to become a superintendent at other places, but opportunity never quite presented itself. You came here as a pipe foreman, and tell us kind of about your process to kind of finding that opportunity to become an assistant super here.
Mainly, I just kind of put it out there, and I talked to the guys that were superintendents, and I asked them questions, how how do I go about getting in there? How can I be a part of that? I want to take on a little bit more and move up the ladder. I want to be a bigger part in projects. And
Yeah.
see how high I can go. I mean, I have goals, but I don't have a specific limit. Whatever, wherever it takes me, I do this and I get this under my belt, and then you never know, 5, 10 years from now, there'll be a next opportunity available.
Mhm. Yeah, and it sounds like you've been at it for a while. You've been very patient in that process and kind of allowed the process to kind of play itself out. I think from what I understand with your promotion here, we kind of ran an internal, trying to find people to promote from within, and did some interviews, and then you interviewed for the position, and were found to be the best fit for that role. Is that kind of how the process went?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I talked to Mike and a couple other people, and I think based on my work and my performance and my showing of interest that I wanted it, and this is a good company, and you provided the opportunity, and here I am.
Yeah, gotcha. And hopefully, I guess with you stepping into this new role, it's another way to challenge yourself and continue to expand your skill set. Have you found the team really being accepting and trying to be helpful from a mentorship standpoint to kind of get you what you need, when you need help and those kinds of things?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's been a great help. Russell, he's been really good at kind of showing me around and what to do. Mike, he's there for me. And everybody else, I haven't really had any issues. If I call and I have a question, they answer the phone and they offer help.
Yeah, cool. That's great to hear. What are some of the things to you that are exciting about the industry, or the things that you like about the industry, or for some young kids listening and maybe thinking about construction? What are some of the positives that you would tell people that have, that you found through your career in construction?
The thing I like about it the most is you learn a lot of skills that you keep with you, and you can take them home with you. You learn how to build stuff, you can fix stuff, you can, do things. You want to build a shed, and you know how to build a footer. You can dig the footer out
Mhm.
and all this stuff, and you get a lot of skills that you can take home with you, and that really helps you out in your personal life. So
Yeah.
it's not just about making money. It's about kind of, as a person, you have a skill set that has unlimited potential.
Gotcha.
Whatever you want to do with it.
Cool. Is that were you the type of person that considered yourself like mechanically inclined growing up, or good with your hands, or is that something you kind of learned through the trade?
I'd rather do something with my hands than anything else. I
Right.
love, getting my hands dirty and picking things up and taking them apart and putting them back together and seeing how it works. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I've always had a interested in just kind of knowing how things work, and,
Yeah.
and being able to manipulate, take them apart, put them back together, make it look a little bit better, make it, work a little bit better.
Leave it a little better than you found it, I guess,
That's
right?
it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Cool. Has that been an adjustment for you at all? Now you've only been in this new role for about a month, but sometimes this role is a little less about getting your hands dirty and a little bit more about, you know, kind of using that skill set and the things you've seen built over all these years to help game plan and make sure a process goes right. Is that, and of course, when we put people in these roles, you still got to be willing to get your hands dirty, but it's a little bit of adjustment to say, all right, hey, I'm going to back off of this one and make sure I let the guys do it, or how's that process been for you?
It's a little bit different, kind of having to stand back and talk somebody through it.
Yeah.
Because yes, there's always the urge for me to just jump in there and let me do it. But
Yeah.
yeah, you can't do that. You gotta teach the young guys. You gotta show them. You might have to get in there and demonstrate it once or twice, but other than that, yeah, it's an adjustment. But I have plenty of projects at home. I'm always getting my hands dirty at home, so
Yeah.
that kind of fulfills that need. So.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But it's definitely an adjustment. Yeah.
Cool. Are you the type of guy that's always remodeling or tinkering or building? It sounds like you might be always working on a project at the house, huh?
It's something, yeah. I have a garden. I have other things, putting up fences, things like that, So
Okay.
it's always something, and at your house, there's always something to fix, right?
Yeah.
It's something's always broken, something always this, and needs to be painted, needs to be pressure washed. You got to change the oil in the truck. It's
Yeah.
always something, but it's a good thing. It keeps me busy, and I like it.
the joys of home ownership and
Oh yeah.
owning things. So I will say you're the first person we've had on here that has a garden that I'm aware of. So that's an interesting one that I didn't know about you. What kind of stuff do you grow in there?
Mostly vegetables. I mean, I've grown quite a bit of stuff. I try to. It's vegetables. I want to do more. I want to do get into permaculture and native plants to Florida and bringing the butterflies around and all that stuff, and
Cool.
just kind of making it a nice place to hang out. And that's the kind of other thing too. When I'm not working, I can go at home and I got that. I can just hang out in the backyard and just kind of watch the nature go by.
Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, when everything's so fast paced and go, 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 I'm sure having something like that is a good place for you to kind of decompress, I would imagine.
It is. It is. It's a good stress reliever.
Yeah.
For sure. It definitely puts your mind in a different place.
Cool. Yeah, my stepdad had a garden, and he used to always grow all kinds of vegetables, and they would always like actually eat all of it. I don't remember what all they would grow, but I'm assuming you probably do the same.
I do, and usually whatever I can't eat myself, I just give it to my family.
Yeah.
They're welcome, and I tell them they're welcome to come over if there's something that looks ready to eat, grab it and take it.
Cool.
I'm not just
Yeah.
whatever. It's there
For everybody, community.
Yeah, because sometimes I grow a lot more than I can eat myself.
Right.
So why let it go to waste?
So whether you're at work or at home, you're still finding a way to play in the dirt, I guess. Then, huh?
That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it's an addiction.
Yeah. Who knew?
Not a terrible one though.
Yeah. Hey, man, it's a healthy one. That's good.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Good stuff. Yeah, that's interesting and unique. What are you most looking forward to in your role as an assistant superintendent? What are you excited to learn and be able to do?
I don't know if there's any one thing, but I've always wanted to learn more, the dollars and cents, the logistics of it,
Yeah.
putting all these things together, because for many years I've kind of been on the outside looking in, and I've tried to be observant, and I can see things and
Really understanding where you're winning and losing from a mathematical standpoint.
right,
Yeah.
and the coordination of it and all that stuff. I want to be a part of that. That's what I want to learn, and obviously, if the company's not making money, then nobody's making money. We got to be profitable to keep everybody in work and to feed your families and everything else. So
Yeah.
that's part of it. I want to see how you make money in this business.
Yeah.
And be successful.
Yeah, that's always the goal. We've got to make money to continue to grow and create those opportunities for people like yourself to be promoted. And, that's what we're always kind of seeking out to do. So good. Yeah, that's good to know. And hopefully we can, as we grow and get more systems in place, we can kind of create more exposure at all levels for those things so everybody can understand, where we're winning, where we're losing, how we can get better, and then how we can share that with the entire team as well. Because I think the goal is full circle, So,
Right.
yeah. Gosh, I'm trying to think, is there anything we're missing? I did not know through this conversation we would pull out the fact that you're a gardener. So there's got to be something else here that we haven't stumbled across yet or not thinking about that we should know about you, Jay. Is there anything we're missing here?
I mean, I do lots of different things. I have a very curious mind, and I'm full of useless knowledge, and it's just because I'm curious.
Yeah.
I like to do different things. I mean,
It's a great trait.
not that it's special, but yeah, I have motorcycles. I ride my motorcycles, and matter of fact, I have one that I took it all the way apart to the frame. I rebuilt it. I repainted everything, new tires, all that, and it's probably about 5 years ago, and I still have it. I ride it all the time, and that was another one of those gratifying things.
Yeah.
Especially something like that, to take it all into pieces and put it back together and still be able to ride down the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
For sure. That's awesome. They say there's nothing more satisfying than working with your hands. So, well, another question that comes to mind just about your experience at Burgess. What's your experience been like here? And are there any positives that you can tell the listeners that, somebody that might be listening and saying, man, I'm thinking about applying at Burgess. What would you tell them about the work environment here and your experience here?
it's really good, very positive. Plenty of support. The support is there. The opportunities are there. Everybody in the company, they encourage you to be better and to look to the next step and to move up. So it's a lot of encouragement, a lot of support, and definitely a good place. If you want to move up in the world and find a path. And maybe you don't know what your path is, because I didn't when I started this business. I was kind of all over the road, but I found this path, and so far it's turned out to be a good one. There's always bumps in the road, but it's a good place to be later on, once you get past the tough stuff. So
yeah, the physically demanding stuff, and then you can kind of work your way, up the ranks, I guess.
Yep, definitely. I mean, it's rewarding.
Good opportunity for, a good career for you, right?
It is. It has been.
Yeah.
It's been a great career for me, and I think this is probably where I'll spend the rest of my life, doing this in one way or another, until I can't do it anymore.
Sure. Good. Well, hopefully it's here. Hopefully we keep creating those opportunities for you. One of the things you just touched on a couple minutes ago was you in that younger stage of your life. You talked about working a bunch of different jobs before you kind of found your path in construction. Now you've been on this path for 20 plus years. That's one thing I want to, kind of make sure to share with the listeners as we're sharing positive notes about your experience in the industry. You were once that, 18, 20, 22-year-old kid that didn't really know what you want to do, and somebody gave you the shovel and you stuck with it and created that path for yourself. And that's one thing I want to make sure people understand about our company as well, is that, we always say as part of our core values, there's only one thing required to work here, and that's integrity, which means doing what's right no matter who's watching or who's not watching, right? And our goal is to take that 18, 20, 22-year-old kid, put the shovel in their hand, and continue to train them and grow their skill set and build them up. One of our next steps in the company, hopefully, will be, we say we want to become a training company that happens to do construction, so that people like yourself maybe don't have to jump around to, other companies to find those opportunities, and they kind of present themselves quickly and more easily. So I'm appreciative of having somebody with your skill set here at the company that's been doing it for so long and has public and private experience. Because you're going to be the type of person, as you move from an assistant super to a superintendent role, I think you're going to be the type of person that can, have the ability to teach people on both sides of the business, hopefully based on your experience doing both, I think. So I'm excited about that, for your progression and for your path. And I hope that hopefully it all comes together that way, and hopefully you find as much value in it as you found, throughout your career up to this point. So
I hope so, and I look forward to it, because there was always somebody there, older, willing to give me the knowledge. So, now I'm there, and hopefully I can pass it on to more young people, and even intermediate people along the way, and whoever. Whatever I know is there for whoever wants it.
Right. There you go. As long as the people are willing to accept it, you should be willing to pour into them, and that's the only way we can continue to kind of, pull up the chain, more or less, Yeah.
So. And I think, as far as myself, even, I never let all the time I have go to my head. You have to always be open to learn more, because no matter how many things I've done, there's always something I haven't done.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to take it on and see what comes of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of our core values too, is learning, just that willingness to learn. And, that's how we can create those opportunities. That's one of the sayings that, since I've been in the industry, for going on 20 years now, one of the sayings I've always hated is, why do you do it that way? Because we've always done it that way. Why does it have to be that way? We're one of the oldest, most antiquated industries out there, which means that there's opportunity if we can think differently, if we can use technology to our advantage to do things differently. It's a way for us to kind of catch up or outpace our competition, if we're willing to be open-minded, which it seems like you really are. So.
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of tools, techniques, and methods change over the years, and especially in the last 10 or 15 years of the way technology has taken off. There's a lot more technology into this industry than there used to be, which is, it comes with its own pains, but I think overall it's making it better. It makes quality work. It makes it, to do better work.
Yeah. Pipe lasers probably weren't around back when you became a pipe layer, were they?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, they were? Okay. All right.
Oh, I'm not that old.
Not that old. I'm thinking about you using a plumb bob and pulling chain and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
We but that was it. We didn't have the rods. You had the pipe laser, but you still had to line it up with a plumb bob and string line and all that stuff. We didn't have any of the GPS graders. You had to just do it by the stakes and your feel. You had to feel when you were on grade or whatever, and that's how you did it. And but now it's a lot easier, but I think it's also makes for a better end product.
Right.
for sure.
More accuracy. Yeah. Yeah. Because throughout your path, doing it as long as you've had, like you said, you had to rely on feel somewhat for some of these things as you're going and growing. Those things take time inherently to grow.
Oh,
But
yeah.
with the technology, there may be some of those things that people can learn faster now, because there may not, you can't replace that feel that you've built for all these years, but there may be faster ways for people to spin up and grow through the industry, where maybe that cycle that took you a certain amount of years, we may be able to constrain that now for people that are considering the industry, I guess. So,
Right.
yeah. So,
Definitely something that takes time for sure.
yeah. Good. Well, I'm glad you've stuck with it for all these years, and I'm glad you listened to Randy and finally found the opportunity over here with us. And hopefully you'll be around here for a long time, and we can keep growing and creating those opportunities for you. So I know this isn't the most comfortable and natural thing in the world for you to do, but I appreciate you coming on and kind of putting your story out there and sharing with us some things we didn't know about you. So,
Okay.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunities.
Yes, sir. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Burgess Civil Podcast, where our greatest asset is our people. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please leave us a review, give us a like, and subscribe to our channel on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Follow us on social media and share your feedback or suggest topics for the next episodes. You can find all the information about our social media channels in the description. We hope you will continue to follow us on our construction journey.